How you guys doing today?
Good, you?
How long are you in there? Been awful quiet?
Yeah.
Good.
So far, so good.
That's all that counts.
That's right.
More children are killed from domestic violence than American soldiers are killed in war every year.
You want to hear statistics I just learned? Talk about danger. Most people you think are killed by law enforcement in the United States in a year. I'm going to give you a statistic from how many law enforcement agencies and officers there are. There's 17,500 police departments. There's over 1 million police officers. And those police officers have just over 1 million contacts a day. How many people do you think are killed by law enforcement in a year? What would you get?
2,000.
150.
150?
150 total. How many people are killed by medical malpractice? Probably a lot more. 110,000. Yet, what do people fear more? Doctor with a scalpel or police officer with a gun?
I fear both equally.
Yeah. But, so anyway, I get it. To answer your question, there's a couple things. One, it's not trying to censor anything, so it's not trying to stymie the message. We've said consistently, while the park is open, and even potentially subject to conversations about when the park is not open, the presence of people, the presence of the message are not an issue, have not been an issue at all since October 28th. Obviously,
when there was that meeting in City Hall, before the meeting, people had been here from the time of the incident up until 5 o'clock. People they'd had access to this whole area of the park other than the time.
right?
And when the people from the movement went in to have this meeting with Bob Kiss and yourself, when they went inside, all of a sudden the police force outside doubled or even tripled. I'm not sure of the numbers.
Yeah, I actually addressed this last night.
But when we came out, I wasn't there.
Okay.
When
we talked about this at length last night.
Out, there were 3 times the officers outside with riot.
It wasn't 3 times, but so what happened was a couple different things were in play.
Times? I don't know.
It was probably twice as many.
Twice as many.
But by twice as many, I think the maximum we had like 16 officers. So we were out. We were here to secure the crime scene, and that was it. It had nothing to do with anything else. The reason that it escalated was prior to the crowd going inside. Yeah. There were very overt statements about trying to retake the space, about chaining themselves to things and things like that. That was in direct response to that. Additionally, when I went inside, the very first thing I said is, we're going to be altering the nature of the crime scene tapes. I said that right off. And somebody asked me, would you have done anything differently? I said, yeah, I would have emphasized that much more because people didn't seem to understand what I meant by that. I don't think I communicated it well. And the reason is, it's pretty simple. We were simply trying to set it up so as darkness fell, we could secure this with fewer officers. The way we had it set up, there were too many angles. We needed too many people on the perimeter to secure it. So it was simple logistics.
So
and then somebody
bring the people inside, was that it?
They were completely unrelated.
Yeah, but it was advantageous to do that because they were tactical.
No, the choice to go inside was not ours. We came out, I stood right here in front of all these folks, and I said, we're happy to meet you. It was going to happen whether we were outside or inside.
That's okay. I mean, like, I understand.
You're not actually accurate. It was not scripted to occur in a specific way. It just so happened that that's the way. What the chain of events was,
so
folks outside,
there's less people outside, and then you're like, okay.
As the folks were moving, they were talking about retaking the space. So the officer who was in charge of the space called for a few more officers to come to make sure that didn't happen. By the time they showed up, everybody was inside and the issue was done, but they hadn't had a chance to leave yet when everybody came storming out of the castle. It was not scripted to be some surreptitious thing.
Right. I wasn't suggesting it was scripted. I'm just saying that like it was used to the advantage of it was used to your advantage.
It was actually to our disadvantage because we had to take people from other parts of the city doing what they should have been doing to come here because we had overheard a very direct threat to the crime scene. It's not what we wanted to be doing. This was an accident investigation. We talk in terms of what's the first harmful event to cause the crash to occur. The first harmful thing to happen is a bunch of people getting together saying very loudly, let's take back our what we perceive as our crime scene and what they perceive as their tent site. That's what spun things out of control. Actually, what spun things out of control was someone coming in there yelling that something crazy was happening when it was not.
Well, the amount of officers were present and
Okay, so 8 to 16. And the 8 were detectives with lights trying to pick up parts of the crime scene.
Right.
So all we did was bring in uniform officers so that they didn't get overrun.
And then
If it was doubling from 40 to
the-
80, that's a big deal.
well, you don't have that many officers, do you?
Sure we do.
You have 80 officers.
We have 100.
Really? Wow. Okay.
So if we were trying to take back the park, you would have seen a much different scenario.
Okay.
We've been clear. It's never been our intention. We'd like the tents to come down now. We feel the tents need to come down now. We've asked people to take the tents down now, but we're not taking them down. Okay.